Okay guys, it's time to Netflix and chill. Amongst the item sets that have been buffed by week 4 PTS for the Greymoor patch in the Elder Scrolls Online, a lot of people have been eyeing the Galenwe set one can find from this summer set, Cloudrest. Previously, the Galenwe set was never really a consideration for any PvE endgame group due to it only affecting 3 other people, while only having a 50% proc chance upon successfully blocking the attack, and the empower could only occur once every second. On the Greymoor PTS, however, the Galenwe set has been reworked and buffed, retaining its 2 to 4 piece bonuses of max health, minor ages, and healing taken. The 5th piece bonus has been reworked to, after successfully blocking, you grant Empower to 11 allies within 15 meters for 5 seconds, increasing the damage of their next light attack by 40%. This effect can occur once every 2 seconds. Immediately, the questions I had were for the parameters of Galenwe, including distance, requirement for proccing, such as what is considered successfully blocking, and of course if teams would use it for trials. After testing on the PTS, Galenwe cannot proc on the wearer of the set, in addition to not being able to proc off of standing in a stationary AoE damage over time effect while holding block. While Galenwe can proc off of the initial impact of an AoE dot or a single target damage over time effect, blocking while the damage over time effects on you do not count towards successfully blocking an attack, so this may see no interactions with certain trial mechanics such as Dark Drain and Cloudrest from the orbs, although malicious strikes will certainly count towards proccing Galenwe, which is the initial impact of the Dark Drain. Galenwe can proc off of initial damage, direct damage AoEs, and direct damage light attacks and heavy attacks. Direct damage AoEs meaning something like arrow spray from a archer ad, something like that. And of course, direct damage light attacks and heavy attacks referring to boss light attacks or heavy attacks, and so forth. The proc basically occurs every 2 seconds, while the empower lasts for 5 seconds, and with multiple enemies hitting me in the same instance, Galenwe can definitely see a high uptime. Now, what about the distance? While the tooltip says within 15 meters, it looks to be about slightly less, but here's a screenshot of the maximum distance at which Galenwe can proc from player who's wearing the Galenwe to a player who is not wearing Galenwe. Now that we know how it procs, the distance, we basically need to extrapolate our findings onto if we would consider using Galenwe for our raid compositions and trials. Mathematically speaking, the uptimes in Galenwe will differ greatly between a lot of fights, particularly boss fights, where the rate of boss attacks or even the nature of the fights will have a strong impact on the uptimes. From Ethereum Archive all the way to the new trial Kind's Aegis, I think there will only be a few fights where you could have either the main tank or off tank wear Galenwe if you want to, although this will depend on strats and the itemization of the group. Personally, I don't think we'll see Galenwe make an appearance in most trial content for a lot of groups due to a variety of reasons. For example, number 1, there are arguably much better support sets still out there, including the upcoming Roaring Opportunist, plus the fact that for a lot of proc groups or even endgame groups, certain sets like Eben or Yonakrin are just simply almost irreplaceable. Number 2, a lot of endgame tanks don't really block everything, even every 5 seconds, or are never in situations where they need to look for damage to block to proc Galenwe. Number 3, the buff from Galenwe depending on the uptimes will be a matter of min-maxing. I think Galenwe potentially replace Torx Pack's additional 600-ish group penetration for tanks, where they still run Torx Pack, but even then the number of scenarios where tanks still run Torx Pack is definitely shrinking, added to the fact that the tank wearing Torx Pack may not even get a good uptime on Galenwe during the fight. Overall, I think if you are interested in Galenwe as a tank and as a raid lead, definitely hold on to it. I think there will be times where you'll still get a good use out of it, considering buffing a raid average of 35k to 50k light attacks per person by 40% is definitely an overall DPS increase, whether it's by 2 or 3%, and I won't be surprised if it does see usage in trash-heavy trials such as Sanctum of Phidia, Hail Raw Citadel, Kind's Aegis, and maybe a couple boss fights elsewhere. For 4-main tanking, I don't think it's worth running, because the benefits of other sets definitely outweigh it for 4-main content, including Black Rose Prison and Dragonstar Arena for both the tank and for the group, so I don't think Galenwe has a place in 4-main content. If you guys have any questions or you want to theory craft with me, let me know down in the comments below. Would you run Galenwe? Why or why not? Have you tested Galenwe? Stay safe, have fun, and see you guys next time.